Hey there, this is Joy and I'm excited to join Altenew for the January 2024 monthly release hop. You can see the description as well as refer to my blog for the complete list of supplies. I inked an A2 cardstock using Volcano Fresh Dye Ink and a blending brush. Next, I used Lagoon ink followed by Embossing Fresh Dye Ink. I repeated this step one more time. Always remember to wipe down your work surface, especially when using a lighter color ink after using a darker one. Then I used jet black ink around the edges to darken them and create more depth. I then blended the ink out using Volcano Fresh Dye Ink. After that, I placed the cardstock in the Tufted Elegance 3D embossing folder and ran it through my die cutting machine. I prepped the cardstock using embossing powder bag. Next, I swiped the embossing ink pad on the raised surface of the cardstock. I then sprinkled antique gold embossing powder on it and heat set it. I die cut the base layer of the butterfly from red cardstock as well as an acetate sheet using the dye from the Jewel Botanicals Layering Die set. Then I die cut the top layer from jet black cardstock 6 times as I wanted to make the butterfly a shaker element. To add dimension to the base layer of the wings, I inked the edges using Vineyard berry dye ink and a mini ink blending brush followed by rhodolite dye ink and a detail blending brush. I then used a blending brush to randomly apply embossing ink over the top layer of the wings. Then I sprinkled antique gold embossing powder on it, dusted off any excess and heat set it. Next, I assembled 5 of the die-cut butterfly wings using liquid glue. After applying the glue for each layer, I dabbed it on a post-it sheet to remove any excess as I didn't want the glue oozing out. After assembling the wings, I used my craft knife to clean out any paper or glue residue on the inner portion of the die-cut butterfly. Then I stuck them on the base layer of the wings. Next, I stuck the top layer of the wings on the acetate wings. After that, I filled the wells of the wings with gold halo glitter as well as some gold glass glitter from my stash. I then stuck the top wing using liquid glue. I used the coordinating die to die cut the sentiment from jet black cardstock. Next, I applied the embossing powder on the cardstock to remove any static. Then I inked the stamp set using embossing ink. I like to tap the ink pad on the stamp set as this gives me a crisper image. I then sprinkled antique gold embossing powder on the cardstock, tapped off the excess and heat set it. I stuck the background panel on an A2 card base and then stuck the butterfly and sentiment on the card front. I hope this video inspires you to create, and if it does, please tag me. I would love to see your cards. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, live creatively and spread the joy of handmade art.